Hi everybody, welcome to today's episode of The Startup. So today with me I have a long-time friend, a good someone that we've almost grown up together, went to the same
Yeah,
church.
yes.
She's going to be talking about what it means for you as an entrepreneur to lead a healthy life and to also lead a fit life as well, so that you don't burn out. So with
Mhm.
me today is Morenike Famodun. Hi
Yeah.
Morenike.
Oh, thank you, Tolu. Thanks for having me. How are you today?
I'm fine, thank you. It's been a long time. It's really good to reconnect, right? It's been a
Yes,
while.
it's
How have you been? How have you been keeping?
yeah, I've been well. I've been keeping well. Obviously, grateful to God that we're here still and, able to come out of this time with our mind intact, our body intact. So really, really grateful. And yeah, glad to catch up with you. So this is kind of like a interview slash catch up.
Yeah. Kind of a thing, right? It's a good opportunity to connect. I mean, one of the things that I've learned, and I've said this to all my interviewers, is that COVID-19, as bad as it is, as much as it has kept us in some form in lockdown, as it were,
Mm.
it's actually giving us more opportunity to connect to people that we may not have
Yeah,
otherwise reached
I
out
think
to,
so.
because
Yeah.
of the video capabilities that we are now leveraging, even though they've always been there, right? So it's
Hmm.
exposing a lot of secrets, isn't it?
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, yeah, definitely.
It's really expressing to us that we're not actually as busy as we thought we were, right? And it's actually good that you mentioned that, it's good that we've come out with with the right mindset and everything, because a lot of people have gone through some challenging times, especially
Mm.
people who have been seriously disconnected from other people. Now they're
Yeah.
actually forced to stay at home.
Mhm.
It's quite challenging, especially from a fitness perspective, right? And
Yeah,
health
absolutely.
perspective.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Very, very challenging. And I think one of the amazing things, as you just mentioned in terms of Zoom and stuff like this, or technology that has always been there, is just the level of creativity that you started to see, like from every angle, people popping up with new ideas that were fantastic. So, it's like we had things taken away, but then we had to think of how can we still get and achieve what we wanted without the comforts that we're used to. So yeah.
Amazing, amazing
Mm.
stuff. Okay, so let's get right into it. So I know you run
Yes.
a fitness class, a fitness
Yes.
organization called
Yes.
M Fitness, right? Is that
M
correct?
class M class fitness.
M
Yes.
Class Fitness. Awesome, thank you
Yes.
so
Yes.
much. So M
Yes.
Class Fitness. So what led you? What was the kind of inspiration behind M Class Fitness, and what led you down the entrepreneurial route?
I think so. As you know, or well, you will know, not everybody else will, that I've always kind of trained, always
Yeah.
loved it myself. I did athletics for a number of years. Went on to run for England, tried to run in the Olympics, didn't quite make that, but it's always been something that's been a big part of my heart and of my identity. I went into uni, and unfortunately, I couldn't balance the law degree, the socializing, the relationships, all of it at the time, and take myself there or go to the levels that I believed that I was capable of going, which is fine. I guess everything happens for a reason. But really, ultimately what was needed at the time was discipline, but I didn't have it to make certain sacrifices. But it was still a huge part of me and a part of my life. So there was a year where I didn't train. And that's the only year I can actually remember of me not training. And that was partially like an extended sulking because I didn't, manage to get to where I wanted to get to, but also because I just kind of felt lost. Like, what do I do now that I'm not chasing, to be the world's fastest woman? What kind of training do I do? Do I just go to a gym? Do I just, So I spent that year kind of not training, not doing anything, and that year was definitely by far one of the hardest years of my life. And that would be not because things were unusually difficult, because it's always difficult, but it was more because I felt like I didn't have the control over my mind, over my body. I didn't have the mental kind of resilience and determination and drive that athletics and sprinting taught me. So I kind of came back into eventually, and it was really difficult to get back into it and coming back in and being like, oh wait, I'm not fit. This thing isn't just engraved in me.
Yeah.
You know, a year out, this
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
gone. So coming back and getting myself back to a fit state, finding kind of balance. So that was the journey that I went on myself, and I think that that was where M Class was birthed. You know, being a person who actually was very, very lost in terms of gym and all this type of stuff, I didn't know what I was doing. So then the desire to help others started to come, and because of the background that I had, people would ask me, "Oh, Monica, you know, I'm trying to lose weight. What can I do?" Or, "Oh, I'm trying to, you know, get a flatter stomach," or all sorts of goals that people had. So I'd be giving advice, but I didn't want to continue to give advice based on the knowledge that I'd had from coaches over the years. I thought, let me actually make this thing official, and let me go and do the research and the education that I needed to do myself. So I went to go and do that, funded it myself, went on a course to get it, and I guess that's where it started. That's where it was birthed, and I absolutely love it. So I still do my 9 to 5 job. It's, you know, it's obviously good financially for kind of stability, but unideal because of how much time and energy it takes up. But for now, that's where I am. And so I enjoy the concept of the job because I do kind of city consulting, so in financial regulation. So I enjoy the aspect of meeting new people all the time. I enjoy the aspect of giving people advice on topics. However, I don't feel a passion for the topics that I consult on, and I don't feel a passion for the people that I'm consulting with. So fitness is essentially the same thing, but on a topic that I absolutely love, and for people that, you know, relate to me in a way that is more ideal. So yeah, it's definitely something that I want to drive until I can put down my 9 to 5 hat and do it full time.
Amazing, amazing, and I'm
Yeah.
sure you will, because I mean, from what I've heard you say is that this is come from a personal connection with you, and that means that you'll be able to connect on a very personal level with your trainees, if that's a word,
Yeah, yeah, it
your
is.
with your clients, you know,
Mm,
because this is a journey that, so you've kind of come from somewhat of a fitness pedestal, right? You
yeah.
understand what it means to be at the top of your game, and you also understand what it means to decline, right? And you've seen the
Yeah.
reasons why a lot of people. So if most trainers that are coming into the market may not have that empathy that you
Mm,
may have had, or that you may
mhm,
have now, because of
mhm,
you've been through it, you've been through that slump, and you also know what it means to get yourself back up again. Maybe not
mhm.
at the standard that you were once before, but at least at the standard that works for you,
Yeah,
now,
yeah,
right? So
exactly,
I
exactly.
think that's really amazing. But one thing that you also mentioned was that business, lack
Mhm,
of control,
mhm,
of feeling control over your body, over your mind. You know,
mhm.
so how do you recommend, or how did you address the issue of business? Like, I can imagine when you finished uni and you started working, you did not become less busy, right? So
No,
you
no.
even increase the business, you know, managing your own even family of orientation and so on and so forth. So
Mhm,
how were you able to deal with that so-called "I don't have enough time for fitness"
mhm.
state?
Yeah, that's a really, really good question. I think the it's been a constant battle, and if I'm being honest, I think it's only recently that I've come to a place where I'm like, do you know what, I've got the formula. So I just want to encourage anybody who's kind of feeling a little bit like all over the place, that it does take time, and it is difficult. It is objectively difficult to juggle all of them. People may be doing it and they may look like they're breezing through, but there was some work that they had to do to get to that point. So I think I just want to definitely say that first. I don't want to, you know, suggest that it's like, oh, just because it isn't just.
Yeah.
But I think that you make time for what is important.
Mhm.
So the first thing is, what is your why? So for me, I know what it's like to be at the top of my game, and I understand. I've spent a lot of time understanding these things, and, you know, running for a bus and not being able to I'm finished. And I'm just like, this can't be me. I want to have good heart health. So my why was simply just wanting to be a healthy human being, and understanding that, you know, balance is very important. So sacrifice has to be made. So I'm at the stage now where I wake up early hours of the morning so that I can train before my day starts. Because if I am trying to train at 2 o'clock, I never know what client is going to need something at 2 o'clock. Or I don't know if my boss is going to decide that he wants to put in a meeting at 2. Do you get what I mean? So I try and eliminate the factors that could get in the way of it by training at the crack of dawn. So as soon as I wake up, I train. Then I go, and actually it works quite nicely. Once I got over the, I can't get up, my alarm and all of this type of thing, once I got over the, sleeping late on the night before, it's actually quite cool, because it helps you get your mind right for the day. You release, scientifically, you release all these endorphins, you're feeling good, you're feeling pumped. It's kind of like, even if my boss annoys me this morning, I've already achieved something for myself today. So I'm already feeling, a step ahead of somebody who maybe hasn't done that. So just to come back to the question directly, I think we make time for what is important. Find time. 30 minutes is enough for you to do an efficient session. You don't even have to go to the gym. Quarantine has taught us that. We had time out of the gym. Do you understand? You don't even have to invest in equipment. You can jog on the spot. You can, do some press ups in your living room. Just 30 minutes. There are even sessions you can do for 20 minutes a day. And essentially it's an investment into yourself, because you benefit from it. You're putting money into the saving pot that's yourself. So yeah, does that answer the question? I feel
Yes,
like
it does.
All around.
It actually answers the question. But imagine the entrepreneur who is always on their feet, moving around, doing stuff. So they might be like, yeah, I mean, that's enough fitness for me, right? I don't really need to dedicate a certain amount of time. So the question is, why is it important, even if they are not fit, why is it important for them to be fit as an entrepreneur?
It's extremely important, I'd say, for most people to be fit. But an entrepreneur, you need to think about playing the long game, isn't it? Like, there's these type of things of, burnout. You don't want to be the person who's always working and never makes time for self-care, right? Self-care is very, very important, even for your business, because you need to be okay as much of the time as possible. So training and physical exercise helps you build your immune system, helps you, build the strength that you have. So when it comes to being sick, you're not going to be the person who has a cold and a flu all the time. As an entrepreneur, we know how tough it can be to, be the only person doing everything, and then you're ill. What actually happens to the work that you're doing? So it's really, really important to be healthy and get that balance in life, even though, yes, you are up and down, yes, you are walking up and down and jumping up and down, but that counts as activity, but there still does have to be dedicated time to exercise. And I think that actually brings me quite nicely onto the next point I wanted to talk about, which is diet. A lot of entrepreneurs, or people who don't necessarily have a structured day, so obviously you're the kind of person who wakes up and has to kind of structure their day themselves, dependent on how many meetings or whatever they have. It's very easy to kind of fall off of diet, i.e. kind of on the go all the time, so you just pick up whatever you can find, or on the go all the time, so you don't eat at all. And both of the two extremes can be really, really negative. So again, I think it comes down to planning, just spending 5-10 minutes, even on a Sunday evening, just planning what it's going to look like for the week and what slots you're going to have. And just one thing I found that's really, really helpful for me is having snacks on me. So when I get really hungry, I'll probably have some cashews and some carrot sticks in my bag, so that I don't have to buy a Snickers. It sounds almost quite trivial, but actually it really does help to just be prepared for the different scenarios that may come. We all know that when we're hungry, we eat whatever we see. But if you had, in an ideal scenario, your lunch kind of prepped and planned, or you knew where you were going to be, let's say you knew you were going to be in the city, in this particular borough, where are you going to get your food from that isn't going to be deep fried and full of sugar? So just thinking about those things, because they are extremely important. We know that we are as humans, from the moment we're born, we're on the decline, isn't it? We're all heading to the place.
Yeah.
It sounds quite dark, but that is the
It's
reality.
true. Yeah.
And the only way for us to slow that down, obviously we don't become immortal, but the only way to slow that down is to look after the body that you've been given. You, regardless of if you're an entrepreneur, if you're a personal trainer, if you're a, you know, a pastor, a business person, anything, somebody who works just in the corporate field, you don't get to give your body back at the end and at 50 and say, look, I didn't really have much time to look after it. Can I get another one? You know, however you treat this body now, this is what we're going to have. And so these are the type of things that drive me, even little things like, you know, brushing my teeth before I go to bed. You know, that can be a chore sometimes. But yeah, so that's
I think living a healthy life should be enough motivation for anybody, because from what you said, if you being unhealthy as an entrepreneur can literally put you out of business, right? Talk less of actually taking your life.
Yeah.
You know, so I think it's quite important from that sense. But imagine a person, right, that, you know what, I actually, as much as I would love to plan, I actually do not know what my day is going to be like. So tomorrow I might be sitting down in my living room, and the next 1 hour I might be due to be on the other side of the county, right? Or I need to start making my way from London to Manchester because I need to deliver something from a client. So there's a lot of uncertainty in the life of an entrepreneur. Everything is always up in the air, and then they are juggling things around. So sometimes it can be quite difficult to put a structure around. So what would be your advice for a person that has a very, very unstructured calendar? How do they approach fitness?
I'd say be disciplined. I'd say that takes me straight back to my morning point. If your day is going to be crazy, there's one thing that's guaranteed: you're going to wake up and you're going to get out of your bed. When you wake up and get out of your bed, on the floor, oh yeah, give me 10 sit-ups, give me 10 crunches, jog on the spot. I get that, but I think if you can carve out a 20 minutes in the morning, and really and truly you should be carving out more time in the morning for yourself. If your day is going to be all over the place, where is your mind before you've even started that? That is really, really important, and you cannot underestimate the importance of making sure that you're here. As entrepreneurs, we know that people are going to disappoint us, people are going to flop, people are going to make promises and not deliver, people are going to say, yeah, I'll sort it out. Next thing you know, you're sorting it out yourself. So all of these crazy things are happening. Are you at peace in the center? Like, I know a lot of it does sound theoretical, but these are little things that we can do to make sure that we're on top of our day. You know, I notice the mornings where I start work at 9 o'clock and I snooze up until 8:30. I jump out of bed, I'm like, I'm a mess. Already before I've started my day, I am a mess. So it already puts me on a back foot for my day. If my day starts at 9 o'clock and I'm up 2-3 hours before I've had breakfast, I've done some stretching, I've done some meditation / prayer, I've done some journaling. In an ideal world, of course, I'm not doing this every morning. I am going to be in a better position when those bullets and all those different things come towards me. I'm going to be okay. So I think slotting in exercise in those mornings when you wake up, where, you know, things haven't started moving just yet, is definitely a brilliant way to do it. And I'm a big advocate of it. I've noticed that when I don't train in the morning, I spend the rest of my day with a grey cloud over my head, kind of chasing me like, you haven't done it. And I'm just like, there isn't time. I finish work and I'm like, okay, let me have a 10-minute nap. I'm tired. And, you know, then after the nap, somebody's got a query, and next thing you know, it doesn't happen. So I think that just trying to carve out that time in the morning is extremely important. It isn't the only way to do it, but it's definitely a way to do it. And also, for my clients, when I give them programs, I always give them kind of catch-up days. So let's say I give you a program for 5 days of training. We've got 5 days of things planned. Saturday and Sunday, let's say you missed Wednesday and Friday, Saturday and Sunday can be your catch-up days. So again, when you're making your plans, try not to be so strict with it. Allow yourself to have some flexibility, because you know that, you know, flexibility, it makes you less hard on yourself. If it doesn't happen today, that's okay. It doesn't mean that I've missed the boat for the week. It just means it didn't happen today. That's cool. But let me make a change and see where else in the week I can, you know, put it in. And I think that that's really helpful as well when you don't feel like you've flopped or, you know, messed yourself up, but actually, you know, you've got other slots where you can get back up to speed. I think that's really important to have as well.
Amazing. So is fitness like almost the same thing as training for or learning how to play piano, where they would advise you that you're better off playing the piano 15 minutes every day than playing it 1 hour for a whole day and not playing it for the rest of the week? Is it a similar philosophy?
I would say so. I would say it's definitely a similar philosophy, because you find, you know, that 15 minutes will become 20 minutes. And scientifically, it's proven that these things, they make you feel good. So although it feels like a chore initially, most days, I'd say 98% of the time, you know, when I finish training, even if I started off grumpy, angry at the world, I feel so much better. So that 15 minutes will become 20 minutes. And you then honestly will start to crave that time yourself, because you know how it makes you feel after. So I think, yeah, consistency is really, really important. Momentum is really important as well. So it's kind of like once you start, it's nice. Obviously, life happens, but it's nice. And lots of my clients say this: once they get going, it's just like, okay, I'm in it now. I'm in the rhythm. I'm in the rhythm. My body's used to it. My body desires it. And that's half of the job, you know, wanting to do it. So I think pushing past that initial can't be asked, can't be bothered, knowing what your bigger reason is extremely, extremely useful. And then it becomes second nature. I promise it does. It really, really does. And I'm not talking from myself. I'm talking from clients who hated it, didn't have the slightest of clues where to start, what to do, embarrassed about, you know, being in a gym environment, all sorts of things. But actually, once you start, it becomes second nature. Hi, I'm having an interview quickly, so I'll speak to you later. Sorry.
I mean, it's absolutely fine. So, in that regard, imagine the entrepreneur, right, who feels like, okay, you know what, I've been in this now for a while. I'm actually not in the beginner's level anymore. I don't see myself in the beginner's level, and I feel like I've actually gained momentum. What are the pitfalls that they may encounter that can pull them back?
So are you talking about somebody who's been kind of training?
Exactly. So they feel like they've kind of ring-fenced the time that you need to do those training, because I think that's important. Ring-fence those times. Ring-fence when you're going to have lunch. It doesn't matter if there's fire on the mountain. Ring-fence those times, because those times those are the things that actually give you the energy to put out those fires in the first place. There's no point of you putting out fires when you yourself you're about to drop, right? So it's important to ring-fence those times. So they've already kind of built a system in place. They've ring-fenced those times. They're doing it consistently. What are the pitfalls that they need to bear in mind so that they don't kind of like backslide in that sense?
I think one of the key ones that I've noticed that happens for me is just not seeing a really, really busy season, or not foreseeing a really busy season. So taking every day as it comes, and then forgetting that I've got a really, really busy week planned. So for example, if I'm launching a new challenge, I know that on week one, everybody's going to have 1,000,001 questions for me. You know, time is going to be a commodity that I'm not really, I don't have a lot of. So I think forward planning is really important as well. So knowing, okay, I'm launching this new product, or something in my routine is going to change. How am I going to be able to adapt to that scenario? Because it's really easy to, you know, and I guess the ideal scenario is when we have a set routine, but we know as entrepreneurs, anything can happen at any time. So I think one of the key pitfalls is not foreseeing a really, really busy season coming, and then therefore not planning for that, and then just getting to that place and being caught off guard. And then you find yourself playing catch up, or trying to chase these things. Whereas you could be on the front foot and foresee it and know that, okay, now I'm doing 5 days. Maybe this week I won't be able to do 5, but I'll aim for 3, or, you know, that type of thing. So that's definitely one of the pitfalls that I've seen come up.
And it's also a case of being honest with yourself, right? Like, I mean, rather than saying that, I know that it's going to be very busy, I know that things are going to change, but I'll be fine. I've been used to it. I'll be able to do it. But actually being honest, like, you know what? I don't think I'll be able to commit to it as much as I used to do. and that would kind of like eliminate the possibility of guilt, and guilt then leading to regression, right?
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. And that's the thing that leads nicely to the other point I was thinking of, is when things go wrong as well, because things go wrong. It's just part of life. And obviously we've invested so much into this child of ours, or this baby of ours, and when it goes wrong, it can be quite painful. So having the discipline is probably not the word I'm looking for, but resilience maybe, to push past that, because we know that when, especially, I think it's most humans, I'm going to say especially females, but actually I say that because I'm a female, but it doesn't mean that males don't have the same thing. But when things go wrong, you then kind of just like that's in effect what you do, just whatever, and you find that you're just eating whatever, you just wake up and it's like, okay, there's birthday cake, let me just have that for breakfast. I'm not making porridge, I just can't be asked. Or exercise, and just like, I don't have the energy for that. Sometimes, when things go wrong for me, I just want to sleep away my reality. I just want to sleep, and it's just being able to push past the wanting to, because most of the thing, even for the business that you're running, you're not always going to want to, but you realize the importance of still doing, right? You realize that the business won't survive if it was dependent on our emotions and how we felt and whether we felt motivated or not. We know that as a matter of fact, these things have to happen. My clients have to be, looked after, regardless of if I'm feeling good about myself or not, regardless if I'm believing in my source or not, right? So I think, being able to push past that, the mental side of it, is because half of the battle truly is mental. And once you start to get control of your mind, which is a lot easier said than done, you find that you are thriving, or you can be thriving.
Amazing. So in terms of this healthy lifestyle, this fitness lifestyle, is it a either or kind of situation where I can have fitness but not necessarily a healthy diet? Or or healthy diet and not necessarily fitness? Or do I need to have both at the same time?
Ideally, we want both. That's what we're all working towards. But practically, it isn't always like that. I think the key thing is just be health conscious. Just make better decisions where you can. Nobody is perfect. And so, like, for example, one of the things I always tell my clients is, apparently, if you, and I've only heard it in a few places, so it may not be, scientifically grounded, but I'm going to say it anyway. So if you've taken a year to get to a certain place in terms of results, it will take you a third of that time to lose it, right? So I'm saying that if it took you a year to get it and you didn't train for 4 weeks, you're not going to be back to square one. Okay, 4 weeks is a relatively long time to not train, but it isn't the end of the world if that is what happens. So I think we just have to be honest with where we are. Some people, the fitness part, they love the training, but they're like, listen, me and my Chinese and my pizza, we're not separated. Please, or more, what I'm more here is me and my panda jam, we're not separated. That's more what I hear. Other people, they're quite used to eating healthy, but fitness isn't really for them. I think it's just about making better decisions where you can. So if somewhere is walkable, walk instead of driving. Sometimes it doesn't have to be that you're, jumping up and down dedicated time, but it could just be that you made a decision to go for a 30-minute walk instead of taking the 10-minute bus journey. That could be your tick box exercise for the day, a nice brisk walk, this type of thing. So I think it's about making healthy decisions where you can, getting the exercise in where it's possible, but diet as well is definitely one that can just become out of control if we don't have an idea or an agenda of what we're doing. So a lot of the time when we're super busy, we forget to eat, or we just miss out meals. We wake up too late and we just don't get breakfast. It means that when we get to lunchtime, I'm eating anything. Like, if I smell chips, I'm like, okay, I'm just going to get that because I'm hungry, right? We make better decisions when we have food in our stomach. I'm telling you, I always say to my clients, don't go shopping when you're hungry. Eat your food and then go shopping, because you'll be like, oh, Hershey's, oh, celebrations, oh, Monster Munch, oh, Walkers, you know. So yeah, it is ideally we want both balanced, but practically that always isn't always possible. So I think just be honest with where you are, meet yourself where you are, and say, okay, what can I do? I'm always having fizzies. Tomorrow I'm gonna have one less fizzy and I'm gonna just put some water in. Or in fact, I'm gonna have all my fizzies, but I'm gonna have 2 liters of water as well. And then hopefully I go toilet so much I get irritated that I have to drop something. You know, or right now it's fully carbs. Nigerian, I'm Nigerian, so for me, my house is jollof rice, fried rice, pounded jam. That's the meal. So with my jollof this time, I'm just going to make mixed veg and I'm just going to put it on the side. It doesn't have to be master chefing it up, cutting up flipping stuff. It doesn't have to be like that. You can even buy bagged salad from Sainsbury's and Tesco's and just put it on the side. 1 scoop less of rice, 1 scoop more of salad. Small changes, and then they will become easier and easier as you get on. I think going cold turkey can often be, it's just tough. It's just tough to maintain.
I think that helps to debunk some of the unrealistic perceptions or projections that people have about healthy diets, you know, balanced diet and all that stuff. That, oh, do I need to become a vegan? Do I need to become a vegetarian? Do I need to change my entire? I was thinking about the meat and the chicken that you have to eat anymore. You know, things like that. I think that sometimes serves as a barrier for people to actually making the effort. Well, now I think now that they understand that actually it's just those small things that you had, you know, to make sure that even if you're going to drink your beer, even though we don't recommend that, or your Heineken or whatever it is that you drink, or your Coke and so on and so forth, just make sure that you're having that 2 liter of water every day. You know, make sure that you're making the effort to walk, rather than taking the bus, or rather than driving, or just be intentional about that, you know, of walking to places rather than driving or getting a cab. So I think that kind of helps, and those small steps, you know, helps people to actually get to to what they actually dream to be. So do you have any like challenge or any final points or any final tips that you would like to give to the viewers out there?
I think, yeah, I do. I just think you need to remember that you're trying to play the long game, right? And it doesn't work to, you know, and so it leads off of that point quite nicely, that it's just meet yourself where you are and be honest with where you are, okay? So there's loads of people out there pushing things out. Oh, you must be vegan, or you must be vegetarian. And if that's what you're aspiring to, then I'll say, okay, instead of having chicken 3 times a day, just have it twice. Then tomorrow, have it once. Do you understand? So we are playing the long game. We want it to be sustainable. We don't want it to be, you know, and I do challenges, like 4-week challenges where people do this, that, and the other. But I always emphasize that, you know, the intensity of the challenge is because of the nature of the thing. It isn't what is required for a lifetime. Think about sustainability, sustaining yourself and sustaining the good habits that you develop. And it is very, very difficult to be extreme if you're not there already. So make sure that the goals that you're setting for yourself are realistic. And there's nothing wrong with seeking help. If you have no clue where to start, I'm more than happy to talk to people, and we don't have to sign any contract or you know, transfer any money. I love to do this, and there's a lot of people like myself who just love to do it. If you don't know where to start, speak to somebody. People are out there who live and breathe this stuff. They can help. So speak to somebody about where you can start and how you can make a difference, because every scenario is different. Like now I've given quite generic points, but I'm sure there's some scenarios that I haven't touched on at all. So yeah, I think it's really about thinking about the long game, thinking about sustainability. You know, don't go from a full-blown carnivore to being a vegan. You'll have to be a special type of person to be able to maintain that for the rest of your life. You know, you'll be better off kind of getting there slowly. So I think that's definitely what I wanted to say, playing the long game. Yeah.
I mean, like they say, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a step, right?
Yeah.
You just take that step one time after the other. So,
Hmm.
if someone wants to connect with you, what's the best platform for them to reach out to you to connect with
Yeah. So
MFAC?
yeah, currently Instagram is my main platform, and my email address is on there as well. So I'll be happy to get direct messages via Instagram.
Okay.
And also, obviously, my email address is there. So my Instagram is mclass, so class with a K,
Mhm.
fitness. So mclass fitness is my Instagram. And then my email address is there, and I'll be more than happy to speak to any of you lovely people.
Amazing. Amazing. So guys, don't worry. I'm gonna make sure that I put our Instagram handle in the description below. So Nikki, thank you, Morenike, thank you so much
That's okay.
for taking the time. Don't worry, guys. I'm used to calling her Nikki for donkey
Yes.
years, but I think
Yeah.
Morenike
Um,
is a lovely name. So thank you so much for making the time, Morenike,
no
to
problem.
speak to the viewers out there. And hey, guys, like you've heard, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step.
Yeah.
Don't let the mindset or the pictures that you've had in your mind be a or kind of like an hindrance to you leading a fitness or a
Hmm.
healthy lifestyle. It's very important for you, especially as an entrepreneur, to be
Yeah.
healthy and to be
Hmm.
fit. Especially if you are also running your own, managing your own family, you want to make sure that after the day you have enough energy to be present for your family, because these little things actually take a toll on you and can actually make your life a little bit more difficult than it should be. So
Yeah.
make that time, ring fence some time. If you can't do 30 minutes, if you can't do 20 minutes, at least start with 10 minutes, right?
Yeah.
Or go for that long walk, that will give
Yeah.
you time for yourself. Like Robert Kiyosaki always says, pay
Yeah.
yourself first. So before
Hmm.
you start dealing with your customers, well, start with yourself, pay yourself, so that you have the energy to actually go through your day. So until next time on the startup, see you soon.
Yeah. Awesome.
Thank you for watching today's episode of The Startups. It is my hope that has been both inspiring and insightful. Here at The Startups, we are committed to helping you to build successful and sustainable businesses that will provide the jobs for the future. This is why we are proud of our partnership with the Business Enablement Tool. It is a digital business consultant that helps you provide the ongoing support that you need to build a successful business. We're also committed to helping you to raise the capital that you need to actually take the first step to start your business. And that is why we are proud of our partnership with Transit Loan and the government-backed startup loan to help you to raise up to £25,000 in startup capital. For more information on this, please see the description below. To stay connected with us, please like, comment, and subscribe to our channel. Please also hit the notification icon, the bell, so that you can always get notified once a new startup show comes out. Till next time, see you next week.